Friends, welcome back. My name is Jason, and today I think we have an interesting topic, and the topic was presented by my friend Jordan, and I'm going to let Jordan ask the question. It's a genuine question that he wants to know the answer to. What is the question, Jordan?
There are so many options for rifles. It's probably 10, 15,000, I don't know. It just feels like it's an overwhelming number of options for a rifle.
Unlimited, yeah.
So many. So which one should I pick? The only real practical thing I'd use a rifle for is deer hunting.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, that's all I use it for. Maybe target practice or marksmanship, but mostly medium-sized game like deer.
Sure.
So which one should I pick?
Okay. Valid question.
You're basically asking what is the best deer rifle.
That's your primary purpose.
That's my primary purpose.
But but I could add on to that.
Right.
Not only could you use it primarily for deer hunting, but you could use it for other things as
Life
well.
and liberty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
number
home
one.
defense and stuff like that too.
If you could just have one. Yeah, limited budget,
Okay.
limited money, right? You don't have $1 million to spend on 15 different guns. I'm just gonna buy one, and I'm like that. Like I'm very much like that. I don't want to buy a whole bunch of stuff. I want one that will do all the things. Which one is that?
I think the easy answer is the shotgun, a 12 gauge.
Yep.
I
Mossberg
think-
500.
Right.
I say it over and over and over
But
again.
he did specify rifle
Yep.
as well.
Yep.
And I think, the majority of people that are out there, they're going to say, oh, it's America's gun, right? It's got to be a 5.56 AR-15, but I don't think they realize there's lots of other guns that are chambered in 5.56
True.
or 223.
Yeah.
Like the Mini 14,
Yeah, the Ruger.
right? Because if we're talking budget,
Yeah.
right, it can get quite expensive to build an AR-15.
And I don't want to mess with that either. Like, I don't want to do that personally. That's just me. Maybe you guys love building rifles, custom rifles with all the things and doodads and specifically the way you like it. I don't want to do that. I want to buy a rifle. I want to maintain the rifle.
The
And
average person literally wants to go to the store.
Yeah.
They want somebody who's informed to help them make
Yeah.
a informed decision to purchase a rifle.
I want to buy a rifle. I want to maintain it. I want it to last the rest of my life. That's what I want.
I will say, I'm going to go against the industry or whatever because I think most people say 22 LR
Yeah.
specifically. Like this is the end of the world gun. I can carry tons of ammo. There's low recoil.
I'm going to be on foot and I'm going to be carrying 10,000 rounds of ammo.
and I hit my target every single time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You know.
Like, I don't think a 22 is a wrong choice.
No.
I think a 22 long rifle, what's the 1022 Ruger 1022 or a bolt action 22, something like that, is not a wrong
A
choice.
Savage, a Marlin. There's lots of good platforms.
I
out
think they're fantastic, and if I just had that and someone said this is the only gun you get, here you go, I'd be very happy.
grateful.
I'd be very happy to have it
Absolutely.
because I can kill deer with it all day with a good, well-placed
Well,
shot.
yeah. He cannot use a 22. Let's be very, understand whatever your laws are where you're at. You
Yes.
cannot
Yeah.
hunt a deer with a 22
Yes.
LR.
Have
Yes.
to have center fire.
Yeah, you'd be
Right.
you'd be breaking laws.
Yeah, you need a high-powered round for that. Well, there are some low-power rounds that are allowed for hunting,
Mm-hmm.
but what we're getting at is you need a caliber that is legal
Yes.
for you to actually kill an animal.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I think a lot of people don't realize either. They don't understand caliber. In other words, the diameter of the round itself.
Yeah.
Because a 22 LR is the exact same size, diameter-wise,
As a 223.
as a 223
Yeah.
or a 5.56.
Similar bullet.
Right.
Similar bullet, yeah.
As far as the diameter
Yeah.
of that round.
Yeah.
But 223, 5.56, that's like a 22 LR on steroids.
Right.
Right. For sure. Now you could
Yeah.
hunt deer with that caliber.
You could. And effectively, lots of people
Yep.
hunt with a 223 or 5.56 and kill deer all the time. Yep.
And that brings up the ammo thing, like how much ammo can you carry?
And it's pretty lightweight ammo. It's easily accessible. 223
It's a NATO
5.56 is
round.
everywhere. Like, it's a very common round, which is pretty beneficial, I think, in that aspect. So, I mean, honestly, like, if you had a reliable 223 or 5.56 rifle, that wouldn't be a bad choice if you were just going to do
It's
deer
not
hunting.
going anywhere
Yep.
anytime soon.
No.
either.
You want my favorite deer rifle? Like, if I was going to go big game hunting, and you said your primary job is to go big game hunting. That's all you're going to do with this thing. I'm going to kill deer. I'm going to kill moose. Whatever. I want my Remington 700 bolt action 30-06.
30-06.
That's what I want.
That's exactly what I would have.
That's what I want. If I'm going to hunt big game, I want my 30-06 rifle.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's very reliable. It's very simple. It's one gun that can do all the big game
30-06 is still readily available too.
Yep.
You can still find it.
Yep.
You may not find specialty rounds like 164 light mag, SST boat tails, or whatever.
But the 180s,
they're everywhere.
everywhere. Yeah.
Even down to 150s.
Yeah.
And you can go way far down in the 120s, and you can go all the way up to 220 for round 2. So if you wanted to kill a coyote or if you wanted to kill a moose,
Yeah.
you could do it with 30-06.
Yeah.
I mean, for the longest time, 30-06 was America's caliber,
Right.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they, basically shortened that up, and now we have 308.
Yeah.
Right. They're constantly making changes as far as that goes.
But I don't feel like we've successfully answered Jordan's question. Like, he's going to, let's pretend he's going to go buy a rifle right now. Like, today, he's going to go buy one. Jordan, what rifle do you buy? Like, what rifle should we recommend that he buys if he's only going to get one? And he's going to primarily do deer hunting. But we'd also want him to be capable of protecting himself and his family and all of that. Or shooting the raccoon that's getting into the chicken coop, which happens. Right, which happens regularly. So, what rifle would we recommend?
Considering different states too and different laws.
We're in Georgia.
Right? We're in Georgia right here, but I think a lot of people that are watching, they may not live in a state like we do, which is why I would say Mini 14.
Mini 14 is a good choice. A Mini 14 is an excellent choice.
I mean, we got put on the spot here. I mean, we talk about this kind of stuff around deer camp all the time.
Yeah.
Type of deal. Like, I'm not thinking of anything else in my mind right now, because I mean, I think the number one answer that people would want us to say is it's got to be an AR-15 because that's America's gun.
AR-15 would not be wrong because it's America's gun.
But I don't want to shoot an AR-15 in California.
Yeah.
Right, because I don't think my mag changes are going to be very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. You get 10-round mags or whatever they allow there. I think a Mini 14 is an excellent rifle. I've got a buddy that has one. They're very reliable.
Yep.
They are very accurate.
Totally understated out there too.
Yeah, I think it's a really good choice, and it doesn't look like a tactical gun.
Yep.
It looks like a hunting rifle for the most part.
Exactly.
But it's capable of having 20, 30-round mags, whatever I don't forget what they hold, but I think they hold 30s.
I think for YouTube purposes, they hold 29.
They only hold 29.
Yeah, there's only 29. Let's say standard capacity mags.
Yeah. But that's a thing.
You could get. I mean, I used to do this anyway with my AKs or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. Like I would get hunting
short mags.
Short mags.
I have a AK mag that holds, I think, 10.
10.
It's a little stumpy little thing because
Right.
you don't need 30 rounds to go hunt. That's stupid.
But standard capacity is 29.
Right. Yeah.
On those.
Right. So yeah, I would say a Mini 14 is an excellent option. That's a good choice for
I'm open
one rifle.
for like debate too. Like if somebody would come up with something else, I'm trying to think because basically what I'm thinking is caliber. I want something light enough, but I need the speed.
Doesn't the Mini 14 come in a 30 in a different round? I feel like it does.
Yes.
What is it chambered? Is it 7.62 by 39?
I'm not aware of that.
Maybe I'm making that up. I'm not sure.
We would have to look that up
Yeah.
to be certain. I'm speaking specifically to 223 from a NATO standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Like as far as availability of ammo.
Yeah.
I would not go in any other chambering for that rifle. I'm looking at it as a platform. Let's say I could not go get ammo.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't available. What am I most likely to find in my general vicinity?
Right.
I mean, around here is going to be the hunting calibers, 243, 270,
Yeah.
30-06, 308. Now 6.5 Creedmoor.
Mm-hmm.
Those are going to be like common rounds for hunting around here. But
Yeah.
a lot of people, as far as life and liberty, it's America's rifle. There's more AR-15s out there than anything.
Right.
And they're chambered in either 223 or 5.56.
Right.
And for people that are watching, by the way, I would highly suggest that you get a rifle chambered in 5.56, not 223, because you can shoot either ammo out of a gun that's chambered in 5.56.
Right.
And it's really just a pressure thing, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to blow the gun up. You might get away with it for a little while.
Yeah.
But
Most likely you would get away with it forever because if it's designated for this pressure, that means that it's actually can hold 10
More
times
than
that.
there's the insurance policy.
But don't do
Right.
that.
Let's be smart.
Yeah, don't
Let's
do that.
make a smart
Yeah.
choice.
Whatever your
Right.
gun's chambered in, shoot that.
Yeah, and then beyond that, I would also say the round or the cartridge that you choose for that is going to be really important because standard is basically a 55 grain round,
which works.
which will work.
Yeah.
Right. But as far as hunting goes, I'm going to change that. I'm going to go to a much
77.
heavier, 77 grain, right? And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want a hollow point.
Yeah. So if I was going to recommend one rifle, if we were going to recommend one rifle to Jordan, I feel like the Mini 14 is an excellent choice. I mean, you were going to buy one gun, and you wanted it primarily for deer hunting, but you also wanted it to do other things.
You could defend your home, life, and liberty with
You
it.
sure could, and I think that that's a pretty solid choice. And that would probably suit you quite well as well. I mean, I think that's kind of your style more than the AR type platform. So, yeah, I think that's a really
in
good
this
choice.
run and gun LARPing world or
Right.
whatever. I mean, I just I know what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that the majority of people that are watching are gonna appreciate that more than going the other way.
Yeah.
Right. I think that that's just the mainstream
Yeah.
way to go, and it's cool.
Yeah.
Right. To watch all of these guys and what they're doing with it and all that, but in the right hands, in the capable hands, somebody with a Mini 14 could get out there and run and gun
Yeah, of
and
course.
get it done
And do all the
for
things.
fun.
And you can do all the things. I mean, there's a lot of options out there, but that's a really good one. I'm trying to think just off. I'm not a gun guy. Like I've grown up around guns my whole life. I've shot guns my whole life. I own several guns. But I don't geek out over the details. Like I'm not like it's a 1-in-7 twist in the 16. I don't know, and I honestly don't care. Like if I can hit what I'm aiming at and effectively drop whatever target I'm trying to shoot, then that's all I really need to know. And
I just thought of something
Yeah.
that needs to be talked about as far as legal matters go. You have to have a 16-inch barrel unless you want to deal with the legalities of owning something less, right?
Yeah, just
and there's also the velocity and the power and energy transfer that comes from going with a shorter barrel.
just keep it simple.
And I don't want to geek out on that because I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I love talking about
Yeah.
or whatever. But I would say for the normal person, the average American, just so they don't have to deal with all that other stuff,
Right.
just get a 16-inch barrel.
Yeah,
Okay.
just keep it simple. Keep it simple, Jordan.
All right.
I'm trying to think if there's any other like really solid options are out there that I would choose in addition to that, or
My viewpoint growing up was a little bit different because I'm a high power guy. Like I want at a minimum, I want 30 caliber that for me. But I want to stop the bus, if you will. So if I was looking for a war gun, let's say I was looking for that kind of rifle. It really depends on where you live, right? Because I mean, what's the effective range of the round that we're talking to him about,
Right.
Jordan about,
far.
right? I mean, yeah, sure, you can shoot it to 800,
Yeah,
right?
but I can't see 800 yards.
When
When was the last time you could see 800 yards around here?
It's a long
You don't-
shot.
you-
You don't get those around here. Man.
No, yeah, I think I mentioned, I don't know, in this video
50,
or
85 yards.
the longest shot I've taken on a deer here is 50 yards, I would say, give or take. I mean, I haven't shot anything further than that, and that's, just because mostly you just can't see. Like, that's just how far you can see here. Even in the wintertime when the leaves are done, you can't see very far. Like, look around. Like, you can catch glimpses of animals moving through that further than 50 yards, perhaps, but you wouldn't take that shot because there's too much crap in the way. So you would only shoot within 50 yards because that's the clear shot, effective, safe shot that you've got in these woods, even in the wintertime. Yeah, 50 yards is as far as I could really take a shot effectively.
Honestly, here in this environment, this is something that is because you can get specific to your environment. I mean, around here, all of us grew up on brush guns, right? We all had 30-30s, 30-06, 300 blackout is now a thing. A 223, a 556 is not going to do as well as, say, 7.62 by 39 here.
Right.
Right, an AK would be a better choice literally in these woods. And it's not because I think the AK is superior to the AR.
It's just a heavier bullet.
It has everything to do with the dynamic of where we're at,
Yeah, bigger bullet.
If I was in open plains, the 7.62 by 39 is not quite as accurate
Right.
as a 5.56.
Right.
You know, I would choose that gun.
Yeah.
There. It's a tool.
Yeah.
It's a tool in the toolbox, and you need to pick the right tool for the job. But if you can only have one, you're going to have to compromise on several different factors.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, America's cartridge basically is the 5.56, and
Yeah.
that just makes the most sense,
It does.
right?
I would agree with that. I would agree with that assessment. That makes the most sense. And you could kill smaller game with it as well.
Yeah.
With a good shot.
Talk about accuracy. I mean,
Yeah.
you could take out a squirrel's head with a 2.23
Yeah.
if you had to.
Yeah, shoot the squirrel in the head and you wouldn't ruin all the meat. I think that's
Not that I've ever done that.
not that I would do that because I love squirrels.
Yeah.
But yeah.
They bite me.
Yeah.
Yeah, a knuckle hit. Oh man, that's so bad. You'll want to murder a squirrel
Every
after
squirrel.
that happens. I
Or when
promise.
you're sitting in the deer stand or deer blind and the squirrel comes on the tree right in front of you and starts barking at you, like alerting everyone and everything to your position. Love that. That's really nice. They're cocky son of a guns. Yeah.
Have you ever seen what happens to a squirrel with a 30?
That's what I always think. I always think, squirrel, if you only knew what I could do to you right now. If you only knew.
In another parallel universe, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't think of really a better option than that. An AR-15 or a Mini 14, I think both of those are good choices for one gun if you're just going to pick one in America, in Georgia. If you want to just primarily deer hunt with it, but you want to do other stuff too, I think there's nothing wrong with that choice. You could get the job done with that pretty effectively.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're not going to have to buy all the other fancy stuff
Nope.
that goes with a Mini 14 either.
No.
Right? You can deck them out.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
you have
why?
the ability to do it.
But why? You know,
Yeah.
if you want, you could just shoot the iron sights all day long for deer hunting. Like I said, 50 yards, iron sights. Come on. If
I
you
mean,
can't-
look what America did with
Forever.
iron sights forever.
Yeah. But
You know?
but if you wanted to put an optic on there, you could pretty easily, but you wouldn't have to do it right away, you know, and you could have more accurate shots. So, yeah, I think it's a good choice.
Thanks. Yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Do you sound satisfied, though? Or do you feel satisfied?
Yeah,
With the
I
answer.
still don't know what a Mini 14 is.
We'll look it up when you're
We
done.
will.
When
I
we get
will.
out of here.
yeah.
Yeah. It's a
But
good
it
choice.
sounds like a good gun.
It is. Yep.
Yeah, I would take and go do anything that I needed to do with one, for sure. 100%.
Yeah. Agreed. And they're classy looking.
I think it's highly underrated.
Yeah. I like it a
Highly
lot.
underrated.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good call. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button already, please do that because it really helps a lot and it's pretty easy for you just to go like, boop. Like it's really easy. So just do that. If you haven't, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that would be cool. And until next time, friends, what's the worst that can happen? Let's just go on 3. Thanks, Jordan.